All right, you guys, we're learning. Can you hear me, Andre?
I can hear you just fine.
All right, sweet. I was like looking for it on my own feed, and I cannot find a dang thing. So let me know if you were able to find the new feed, and if that comes up for you to share here.
I did. Yeah, you tagged me in it.
Okay, sweet. So,
are we live on Facebook right now?
It says we are. I don't see it on my page, but according to the system, we are.
I better go look.
Yeah, go check it out, and then you could make sure it's shared from your side.
I did. I pinned it to my timeline because I saw it come through.
Oh, like just now, like the new one?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I know the first one that you shared.
Going live with Andre Bohall.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. All right, we're gonna see where this goes.
I hope this works.
I hope so.
This is our thing, right? We just test these. Remember the Zoom meeting that we did?
Yes, dude, that was the best.
That was super funny.
Oh, dude, you can totally.
Hat look, by the way, I'm wearing all the memorabilia, paraphernalia.
Nice. Oh my gosh, my dog is going to town on the Amazon driver now.
That's what's up.
Fantastic timing. All right, so we don't know how well this is going to work yet, but we're just going to be working through it together. Everybody who's just now joining us, welcome. This is Joshua Meeks with the PNW team, and this is Andre Bohall with the PNW team.
Hello, everyone.
What's up? So hopefully we get to see your comments as they are posting through on Facebook, but I cannot make any promises. Maybe Andre can keep watching that as well. Okay, here we go. I got at least one of the feeds up on my page.
I'm not making any promises either.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just jump in then. And if you guys have questions, we don't answer them. We apologize. We'll make sure we get back to those.
I'm 30 now. I don't know how technology works anymore. What is this? What the?
I felt so old trying to like look up how to do this for like 2 hours.
Is this TikTok? Is this what the
This is what the kids are doing nowadays. There's a chat snap in here. All right, so we're going to jump in, ask 10 questions. And obviously, probably it's not going to be exactly 10 minutes, but we'll try to make it as quick as we can. So the first question is, who is Andre? For those who don't know you, obviously you and I have known each other for almost 20 years now, but just tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. Man, let's see. I was born in Burien. I'm just joking. Maybe should I start there?
Sure.
Yeah. So I guess if I was to just be authentic and real, it's been a pretty fun ride being me. So I was born in Burien. We kind of lived in the Burien White Center area for a while, and then slowly as the family unit deteriorated, we kind of spread out over.
I went through that process.
Yeah, wrong question. This is what happened. But yeah, so we moved slowly into Pierce County because that's where the property prices were better. And I graduated from Five High. That's where you and I originally know each other from.
However that goes. How's that? What's the F?
F.
Oh, I was way off.
Yeah, you throw out gang signs. I'm like, I've never been there before. That's a different high school that he's talking about. Graduated from Five High School, and what did I do after Five? So I worked at Safeway for many years. 10 years I worked at Safeway. I worked in the Milton Safeway. A lot of people know the Milton Safeway if you're from the area. And then eventually I moved to Auburn, went to Kent, went to Black Diamond. I went to all these different places, and I ended up in Seattle, and then eventually into University District in Seattle. And that's where I stopped working because I became a sign language interpreter. Mm-hmm. Worked out for a few years, hurt my right hand. Actually, in high school, this is a little bit about me. I got in a fight and I punched somebody. And I tore what's called a sagittal band. And so I got into sign language, but I couldn't really sign with my right hand because my hand wasn't working right. So then eventually I got surgery, but through that surgery, then my hand ended up hurting because I was interpreting too much. Long story short, I took probably about a 9-month sabbatical until I got into real estate. And when I got into real estate, I reached out to a couple of people, but you were one of the first that I reached out to, then ended up with Keller Williams. Right? What's that?
Did you send me a Twitter message?
It was a Twitter. Yeah, you didn't respond for like 2 months. You're like, oh, sorry, bro, I never checked Twitter. I was like, it's all right.
My bad.
Yeah, so, but I ended up Keller Williams anyway, and I really I really appreciate Keller Williams still, and started my own little mini team. We got any live comments yet? Am I being interesting enough? No.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got Jay and Lindsay on at the same time, so I'm not sure.
Oh, Jay is on right now. Dang it!
Yeah, that's fine. It's not relevant. We know there's
not
nothing relevant being discussed there. So,
wait, can we talk about that right now? I'm just playing.
No.
Yeah, so I've been in real estate, but doing pretty good in real estate. So, smashed some goals my first, second, and third year. I'm in my fourth year right now. I am currently a husband and a father of 3 beautiful, wonderful kids. My kids are amazing, by the way. I love my kids. And most people that are friends with me on Facebook, they get to see my kiddos.
You get to see them in the office sometimes.
My daughter, we're freezing up a little bit there. My daughter actually born. There we go. We good still?
It's off. I got your daughter was born.
Bro, that was Jay Inslee. He's like, I can't compete with this. He's having them cut us off.
I understand, it's tough competition.
All right. No, so my daughter was born and she spent a couple weeks in the NICU at Tacoma General. And then from there, that was like my busiest month in real estate that I had ever had up until that point. It was 2 years ago. And it was a wild ride. But now she's doing pretty well. So I brought her up because she does have some, like, we don't really know what's going on with her. She's fine, like mentally and physically, like everything seems good. But the doctors just don't know, like, they know something's going on, but we don't know what it is. But she seems to be growing pretty healthily, if that's a word. Yeah. So that's me in a box.
Nice.
Anything else? What's the next question?
That kind of touches on a couple questions. But what do you do for fun right now, other than real estate, which is what we both do for fun?
Dude, I do. Yeah, real estate is super fun for me. I do work out though. Like I like to go running. It doesn't look like it, I know, but I do like to run.
You look more than I do right now.
Bro, I got to put on that COVID-19 is what I'm calling it. It's the 19 pounds from the last 6 weeks. But I like to run. I'll hit the gym every now and then. I do like trying new things. Hiking, I haven't been hiking for a really long time. I love to bike. I do road biking, and I haven't done that for a while either. But I love to go with my kiddos. They don't come road biking with me, but I'll get on my bike, and then I'll pull my little one in one of those, what do they call the little carts that the kids sit in?
Like a trailer. Yeah, those are sweet.
What are they?
I don't know. It's like a kid trailer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a little carriage ride thing. So I'll pull Erica, my daughter, I'll pull her in that one. And then my other 2 kids, they'll ride their bikes. And we live downtown Puyallup by Vassie's Nursery. So we'll like go around that neighborhood. It's a great neighborhood to ride bikes in.
The best neighborhood.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. That's, kind of what I do for fun. I don't really know what else outside of real estate. I like to read. I like to learn things about investing. That's something that I'm into right now. I think what I like to do for fun is just learn new things, to try new things. It doesn't matter if I get really good at them or not. I just like to try them out.
That's what's great about real estate is like the industry is changing so fast all the time. And as we're learning, then we're getting to share those things with our clients. And I think kind of like me, like your hobby is real estate, your career is real estate. It kind of encompasses a lot of stuff. And so you touched on this one, but what you did before real estate. So you said you did ASL for a while before real estate, right?
Yeah, I was a sign language interpreter. I'm fluent in sign language.
And that's become a lot of your clients by default end up as people that you had that opportunity to connect with and serve them through that, which has been pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I was invested in the deaf community prior to being in real estate, and at least I hope at this point they understand that like I really love them and care about that community.
Yeah.
And I'm a proponent for that community. And I didn't get into real estate and then think, I'm going to learn sign language so that I can get deaf clients. It just kind of happened to work out like that. So even right now, as we're talking, you and I spoke about going back and me interpreting this or putting captions down just to make things accessible. So it's important for me that the deaf community has access to real estate, whether it's investing, buying, selling, investing, renting. There's so much opportunity there, and there's a lot of deaf people who have the capital, but they don't have the access to or the access they have the access. It's just a lot more difficult for them to get the information they need in the way that they need it. So I look forward to helping them get into their whatever that looks like. If it is investing or if it is buying their first home and create stability, that their family hasn't had, or whatever that may look like, you know. So we bought our first house a couple years ago, and that's, you know, my family, most of my family, you know, my immediate family, we never owned a house. We rented most of our lives, you know, and I'm pretty sure most of their family, you know, going back a couple generations, it was always just renting from other people. So it's kind of cool to own your own house.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I loved, or that I still love about being able to work alongside you, is you and I grew up pretty similar in that, like, we were pretty impoverished growing up. So, you know, obviously, you know, one group of people that you're able to help out a ton is the ASL community. And in addition to that, we both grew up in that environment where we had nothing, and that kind of embodied this passion to help people see what opportunity that there could be in real estate as a career, or just for owning your home.
Let me touch on that real quick, because one thing, when you grow up in that, there's a mindset that you have in that sort of community, at least that I had. And I think that you and I have talked about this before, but there's like a mindset of, you know, this is people who make a lot of money, or people who, you know, own a house and have cars and have the things. Like, for me, it was kind of like they were like the enemy, and it was more of like a jealousy, like, oh, I could never have that. Yeah. I remember, you know, growing up and thinking to myself, like, oh man, if I could make $100,000 a year, like, I was thinking about becoming a lawyer or something, because if I could do that, then I would, like, that was it, man. Like, I would be able to make it. And then getting into real estate and like starting to run a business and realizing, man, there's a lot of potential here that no one ever took the time to explain to me. And, you know, a lot of my friends that I grew up with, they never had that opportunity. No one ever taught us about investing. No one ever taught us about how to get, you know, return on what a return on your investment is, or compounding interest, or what's an IRA, what's a 401k, what's a Roth, like all these different things are things that I've had to acquire and learn about as I go. So I hope that I can take this information and pass it on to other people, so that they can make, you know, as good of decisions as they can to hopefully pull people out of poverty, you know, like, so give them the tools that they need to be able to get out of there.
Yeah. And I know, like, there's so much of that, like, socioeconomic, you know, factor that takes place, that sometimes we're so busy just dealing with chaos growing up. The idea of owning a home is like so far out there. I remember I was telling my wife just this morning, while looking at our pantry, I remember if I ever went to a friend's house and they had like a loaf of bread and a couple bags of chips in their fridge, I'm like, oh man, they're set. You got some of them granola snack bars in there. I'm like, these people are rich, you know, just
for
like,
real, dude.
The little things. And so being able to like help people that, you know, are maybe don't think home ownership is for them, you know, and think, oh, that's for rich people, you know. Just there's a ton of people that become more wealthy because they were able to step into that first home, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then
that is super cool.
There jumps in one of the next questions, like which kind of twofold here. What do you see as your current position? Like, if you could, you know, and granted, not all these you had a heads up on how we were going to articulate the questions, but if you could articulate your position now, what you do on a day-to-day basis, and then kind of, well, what was the purpose of you joining the PNW team when you did that? Where are you at now in your career?
Yeah, thank you for asking. That's a good question. Let me think of how to start that. Basically, I would call myself a listing specialist. I prefer to focus on people who are listing their property to make that as smooth as possible through that transaction. And sometimes you have people who are selling and they're buying, and it's just easier to be the person that is kind of the, you know, helping them sell and helping them buy. So I end up working with buyers there, and you know, use maybe my goal right now is when I work with people who are buying property, which I also love. Don't get me wrong. I love to work with people who buy property because I love to get good deals for people. And I just love the negotiation piece of it, whether it's on the buy or the sell side. It's like one of my favorite things. Shout out to Chris Voss. Anybody who doesn't know who he is, Never Split the Difference. It's a life-changing book. Throw that out there.
I think I have it somewhere, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, so it's there. It needs to be. You'll read it eventually, but it's a good book. And so what I do is I am a listing specialist. And the reason that I took what my old business was called, Watch Me As I Real Estate, and I merged it with the PNW team, is because, number one, I appreciate you as a person. And I appreciated watching you. Shout out to Josh Meeks. I appreciate it. I appreciate the way that you led your team, the way that you cared about people, and then like the value that the PNW team had, right? So what we were doing was, I kind of saw it as like, I could continue to try to build my little kingdom thing here, or I could take it and do it with somebody who's already doing what I want, or inside of that
Oh, breaking up a little bit.
Josh Meeks disappeared. I don't know if I'm still on here or not.
Oh no, I can still hear you.
Trouble connecting. It's often caused by unstable internet connection.
I can hear you now. You're back.
Still there?
Yep. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back. We're back.
Here,
So just real quick.
That'll help.
Wait, we're freezing again? No.
I can see you now.
I should have let Asa go first.
I can see you now. I think we're good.
So anyways, I joined the PNW team because we have so much more value in what we offer for the same and sometimes even less commission than what other agents are proposing, right? So, even looking at the average 3% or 6% total, like we can offer so much more value for that than just the standard solo agent. We have a team, we got the marketing, we had the field service or the landscaping, help out, maintenance, the yard, staging, all of that stuff was included. And that's really what I wanted to be a part of, not to mention just really serving people in the client care and the way that we take care of clients. And they're really the center of what we want to focus on is our clients. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do right now is just take care of a lot of listings of my clients. I do a lot of cold calling. For anybody who doesn't know what cold calling is, just be on the telephone, making phone calls, looking for people that want to sell property or people that want to buy properties that we have listed, just making connections with people on a regular basis. And I'm doing that for, a few hours each day as well.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we've appreciated too. And I think we've talked about this periodically is that a lot of my business, I'm fortunate, it has kind of happened organically and naturally. And because I know a lot of amazing people, and there's nothing more amazing than being able to serve with people that you love, serving the people that you love, and doing the things that you love. And in addition to that, having you on our team has kind of brought a lot more of that regimented, disciplined, gritty, like day-to-day activities that are some of the backbone of our business now. So that's been huge.
Thank you.
What would you say is your big why right now? Like Gary Keller talks a lot about starting with why. Starting with why. Simon Sinek talks about starting with why. What is the thing that has been that grit or grind that wakes you up in the morning and says, because of this, I have to go to work?
Yeah, I don't know if it was the healthiest thing to begin with. I think a lot of my identity for a long time has been wrapped up in making sure that I work because I was so afraid of being poor. That's the reason I stayed at Safeway for so long. So I was like, I ain't going back, and I didn't ever want to have to be on welfare, and I didn't ever want to have to ask people for handouts, and that was something I just really didn't want to do. Yeah. And then when I got into real estate, I didn't have a safety net, but I also didn't have anything to lose because I'd already been out of work for 9 months and, no college degree, kind of some college, almost have an associate degree, but not quite there. So I thought, okay, I'm just getting into real estate and just hammer it out. And I started doing it and seeing results. And then it just got more and more fun to put those things together. So what happened was even in my why kind of changes, it seems like, sometimes originally it was because I don't want to be poor. And then it moved to because I want to be successful. And then it moved to because I want to be able to create a stable environment for my kids and my family. And now it's sort of moving into a place, this is in just probably the last couple of months, moving into a place of I want to be able to help. This sounds so cliche. I was trying to say it. It's so cliche. I want to be able to, if I can not focus on myself and help other people, that's where I'm starting to find a lot of joy in doing that. And in the Bible, is what Jesus says. It's basically giving your life up so that other people, serving other people, not being super concerned about our lives. And I'm starting to trust that works. Yeah. Not to get super religious, but just to say I'm just trusting that works and seeing the experience of that. So that's kind of my big why now is I'm in this position today. I have this opportunity to serve other people that are around me. How can I serve those people and love those people? And that's, kind of bringing it back to the PNW team. That's what you built the model. When you started the business, that's what it was, right? And that's what it is. It's built around serving people, taking care of those people, doing whatever it takes to make sure that they're taken care of, and now I'm taking that also and realizing oh, that is a why for me. That's why I want to get up and make these phone calls every day and why I want to continue to live this out.
Yeah, I think that progression I think it happens with a lot of people, just like we talk about when you grow up super impoverished. Ben Kinney talks about the same thing. He has the whole win, make, give series where a lot of people, start with, okay, I just want to win in life. Okay, I want to make a little bit of money. And then as soon as you have a moment to breathe, sometimes that's when we start to realize actually there's way more beyond just making a living. When you start, when you start sitting down with people and hearing stories of brokenness or stories of excitement that lead towards selling a home or buying a home, it's when you realize like this is more than making a living. This is really an opportunity to give back to people on a huge scale.
It is, man. And you enter into some really heavy situations and you enter into some really exciting situations. There's a lot that you take on, and it's not just about the numbers. When you're out there working, you meet people, and it's really about the relationship. I don't know what the word would be, but just basically the relationship piece of it, and like getting to know people and entering into their situation and seeing things from their perspective. And that's a really hard thing. You got to learn how to do that. Some people are more natural than others, but I've had to learn, and I'm still learning how to see it from their perspective. What are they doing that I need to know about? How can I get what's best for them? What are they actually looking for? Because most people don't, including myself, we don't know how to articulate what we actually need.
Yeah.
Right. Like when we have pain in our body and we go to the doctor, we know like kind of where the pain's at, but we don't really we wouldn't know what it's called unless someone looks at it and says, oh, well, that's this or that's that. But for us, it's like, we do that as real estate agents. We go in and they're like, well, I kind of need, I have 5 kids, or we plan on having 5 kids, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And they have all these ideas and plans. And we're like, okay, hold on, let's back up. Let's figure out what you need. Let's lay it out for you, and then let's get you there, assuming that it's possible.
Yeah. One of my favorite scripts, because we talk about scripts pretty often, that we have, is just simply asking people why. Like when they're like, hey, I want a big kitchen. Man, why is a big kitchen important to you? Well, I like cooking. Why is cooking important to you? And just getting to hear their why that drives them to find what they're looking for. So last question, and this is we're getting to hear kind of the altruistic and the mission of Andre, but the last question is just, there's in an industry of 30,000 agents, granted that number's going down because more people are getting out of the industry, that maybe weren't doing it full time or maybe weren't doing it on a regular basis. But if we could ask the question, how do you set yourself apart from 30,000 other real estate agents in the state of Washington or in the Northwest Multiple Listing Service? What do you think it is for you, that niche, if this is just an opportunity to brag on yourself, if you will, on what sets you apart in this industry?
That's easy. I'm the best.
I like it. I agree.
Period. And I think really what sets me apart and what I focus on the most with the sellers that I'm working with is they have this huge investment, and I study and think about and often plan out negotiations. And because negotiations, it bugs me to no end when people will take a $300,000 house, or 350 or 400, whatever you're buying it at, and agents will play with $5,000 or $2,000 or 50, whatever. They'll play with, in the thousands or more, like it's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
Well, in negotiations, so you're swinging $5,000, $10,000 sometimes in a matter of seconds, depending on how you're negotiating and how you're setting yourself up. So I appreciate money. I like my money, and I want the sellers to know that when we come in and we sit down. I say, let's talk about your money, because money for them is presenting an opportunity. And sellers like to win, buyers like to win, people like to win, right? So we like to put them in a position. I like to put them in a position to win, and I like to put myself in a position to help them win. So really, it's getting people the most amount of money, whether it's on the buy side or the sell side. So on the buy side, we're negotiating. Like I just had one deal. We bought this home. The buyers bought the home at close to 400, and it came back and it appraised at $416,500, right? Yeah. So they're walking in with $16,500 in equity on top of that. Not to mention, we got the seller to pay another $10,000 in closing costs. So there's $26,500
in a significant seller's market.
Right. So, I mean, everyone out there is like, hey, man, I'll do it. They'll say it's a seller's market, but everyone, the easy thing that, I shouldn't say everyone, that's a very generalized term. Oftentimes, people will use money to lure people in, right? Like Redfin, hey, 1%, we'll give it to you for 1%. And we as humans, we like that definite, like, okay, I know this is 1%. And the negotiation side of things, they might be losing that 1% like that, but you can't guarantee during the negotiation what it's going to out to. So what I do really well is I say, this is what we're going to start by doing. Here's the plan of how we're going to negotiate. And then this is where my goal is to get you guys, somewhere in this range. Does that sound good? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, let's do that. So to say what differentiates me, I don't think anybody else in the industry does that quite as well as I do.
That's good, man. I definitely appreciate that. That reminds me of one of the things that Jeff Albrecht used to say pretty often when he was the team lead over at Keller Williams. Being a company, obviously, is not the cheapest, but offers a massive amount of value. Whenever somebody, what do you charge? This company charges 10%, Keller Williams 30%. He would say, well, what's 10%, or what's a lot of times, we are focused on that minute percentage, but we're not looking at, the statistics of negotiation and the larger pictures. And man, I could definitely see that as a reality in the real estate industry. We do, negotiate back and forth with thousands. And, these are people that have families, and that thousands of dollars can make a huge difference when you're actually going through the difficulty of not just trying to get to the shortest yes possible with either your client or their client, but actually trying to create the biggest win for your clients. And that's one of the things that I see you working on constantly through scripts and negotiations. It's one of the reasons you and I are meeting every Tuesday and Thursday right now virtually to go over those scripts, to make sure that we are constantly cultivating and sharpening the way that we're communicating on behalf of our clients. So we appreciate that. So Andre, that is 10 questions in 26 minutes and 55 seconds. Anything else you got?
Yes, I beat my record. I was playing. That was a terrible joke. Nothing else, man, other than, I like to last point, I like to talk about money. And I think that's an important thing when you're sitting down with people. If they are afraid to talk to you about your money, that's a warning sign right there. So have that conversation right up front, whether or not you want to use us as the P&W team or use somebody else. Make sure that you're sitting down and talking numbers.
That's good. For any of you who are on my feed that maybe haven't seen Andre or met him before, you can find out more about Andre through just Googling Andre Bohall at the P&W team, or if you're looking at andre.thepnwteam.com, or just searching through my friends, because he's on there as well. So Andre, thank you so much for your time. Everybody else, thanks for checking in. And once we close this, we'll audit how this worked, and whatever comments and whatever come through, we'll respond to in a little bit. So, all right, good to see you, man.
See you.